May 28, 1940, Reich Air Ministry, Berlin. Reich Marshal Hermann Göring, Commander-in-Chief of the Luftwaffe, set down the intelligence report with undisguised contempt. The document detailed President Franklin D. Roosevelt's request to the U.S. Congress for an unprecedented expansion of American aircraft production, a capacity to manufacture 50,000 planes annually. "The Americans are desperate," Göring sneered to his staff. "If they believe such propaganda will frighten us, they know nothing of war production." He dismissed the idea as absurd. "Let them try to convert their automobile factories. They will learn that building warplanes requires more than assembly lines." The sheer arrogance of the Nazi leadership was palpable, but what Göring failed to grasp, what would prove to be one of history's most catastrophic miscalculations, was that in Detroit, a quiet, Danish immigrant named William S. Knudsen was already proving him devastatingly wrong. The architect of the impossible Knudsen, the former General Motors president, had abandoned his $300,000 salary to serve his adopted nation for $1 per year as Roosevelt's production chief. He was orchestrating the most ambitious industrial transformation in human history. The proclamation that triggered Göring's contempt had come on May 16, 1940, as German panzers raced across France. Standing before Congress, Roosevelt declared his vision. "I should like to see this nation geared up to the ability to turn out at least 50,000 planes a year." The reaction was skepticism, even among allies. In all of 1939, America had produced a mere 3,611 military aircraft. The Army Air Corps possessed only 1,700 combat planes, many of them obsolete. Roosevelt was demanding a 14-fold increase in production. When presidential advisor Bernard Baruch was asked who could achieve such a miracle, his response was definitive. First, Bill Knudsen. Second, Bill Knudsen. Third, Bill Knudsen. Knudsen became the architect of this miracle, bringing automotive mass production principles to aircraft manufacturing. By December 1941, American factories were already producing 2,000 military aircraft monthly, a 20-fold increase from 2 years earlier. The arsenal of democracy was awakening. Ideology versus industry, the fatal blindness. The Nazi leadership's dismissal of American capabilities stemmed from both racial prejudice and willful blindness. General Friedrich von Boedeker, the military attaché in Washington, sent accurate reports describing the American industrial mobilization. His December 1940 cable warned American war production will reach unimaginable heights. Berlin dismissed these warnings as defeatist exaggeration. When Boedeker met with Hitler in 1939 to discuss American potential, the Führer ranted about American racial degeneracy rather than listening to intelligence assessments. Hitler proclaimed Americans half Judaized, half negrified, and incapable of sustained warfare. This ideological blindness would prove fatal. The prejudice permeated all levels. Luftwaffe intelligence dismissed reports of women entering aircraft factories as signs of American desperation. They couldn't conceive that a democratic mobilization might exceed totalitarian command. When reports arrived of factories running 3 shifts, German analysts assumed exaggeration. They simply could not accommodate the American reality. And nowhere was that ambition more fully embodied than at Ford's Willow Run plant. That damned factory, constructed on farmland beginning in April 1941, Willow Run became the world's largest factory under one roof. 3.5 million square feet with an assembly line stretching 1 mile. Charles Sorensen, Ford's production chief, promised to build 1 B-24 Liberator bomber per hour. The initial results were catastrophic. The first bomber, completed in September 1942, required complete rebuilding, and quality control failures reached 50%. By February 1943, Willow Run produced just 56 bombers monthly, and critics dubbed it, "Will It Run?" But Ford engineers persevered, breaking the B-24's 488,193 parts into manageable subassemblies. They developed hydraulic riveting tools, prefabricated wiring harnesses, and moving assembly lines. They accommodated 578 design changes in 1943 alone while maintaining production. The breakthrough came in April 1944 when Willow Run produced 428 B-24s, one every 63 minutes, 24 hours daily. This single factory was outproducing the entire German aviation industry. The inescapable mathematics of war. German pilots first recognized American production superiority during the Tunisia campaign. Major Johannes Steinhoff noted in December 1942, "The American pilots are no longer amateurs. Most disturbing, there are more of them every day." The revelation accelerated through 1943. By October, during Black Thursday at Schweinfurt, the Americans could lose 60 B-17s and replace them within 2 weeks. The mathematics had become inescapable. During Big Week in February 1944, the 8th and 15th Air Forces mounted 3 T-500 bomber sorties against German aircraft production. The Luftwaffe lost between 262 and 355 fighters, but more critically, approximately 100 irreplaceable veteran pilots. General Adolf Galland reported to Göring that Germany was losing 1,200 fighters monthly, while only producing 1,000. America, conversely, was producing 2,500 fighters monthly, while losing 400. Major Heinz Baer described a January 1944 mission where the bomber stream stretched from horizon to horizon. "We were 8 fighters against hundreds. It was hopeless." By 1944, American aircraft production reached staggering proportions. That single year alone, factories produced 96,270 aircraft. This single year's production exceeded Germany's entire wartime output of approximately 94,677 aircraft. The democratic strength. The transformation of America's workforce shattered Nazi preconceptions. Women, comprising less than 1% of aircraft workers in 1941, represented 65% by 1943. Rose Will Monroe, the original Rosie the Riveter, drove 3,000 rivets per shift at Willow Run. Women inspectors at Douglas reduced defect rates from 3.2% to 0.3%. German intelligence interpreted female employment as desperation, dismissing these workers as temporary and predicting a quality collapse. Instead, precision improved, proving that their integration represented democratic strength, not weakness. As American production soared, Germany retreated into fantasy. Göring authorized the Jaeger program, dispersing production into 729 underground facilities using slave labor. The Middle Complex employed 60,000 prisoners in horrific conditions. These underground factories produced more defects than aircraft, and slave laborers sabotaged components. The entire Middlework complex produced fewer engines monthly than Ford's single Chicago plant. Voluntary cooperation proved superior to forced labor's output by every metric. The verdict of history. June 6, 1944, D-Day, demonstrated the culmination of American production. The invasion employed 11,590 Allied aircraft against only 319 German sorties, a 36-to-1 superiority. This was industrial annihilation. Transport aircraft delivered 3 airborne divisions in one day, using more planes than Germany's entire transport fleet ever possessed. By 1944, America was producing more military aircraft than the rest of the world combined. Germany faced not defeat, but obliteration. Hermann Göring's arrest on May 8, 1945, marked the beginning of his confrontation with reality. In July 1945, he admitted, "I knew American industrial potential was great, but the execution exceeded my worst fears. That single factory at Willow Run produced more aircraft than our entire bomber force at peak. It was incomprehensible." During his trial at Nuremberg, charts showed America producing more aircraft monthly by 1944 than Germany managed annually. Films of Willow Run's assembly lines played, while prosecutors listed German cities destroyed by bombers from that single factory. Göring struggled to comprehend the scale. "I never imagined they could increase aircraft production 100-fold in 4 years. Such growth seemed physically impossible." He became fixated on Willow Run, calling it, "that damned factory that broke our backs." The legacy of the miracle. From 3,611 military aircraft in 1940, America produced 295,909 by war's end. Germany produced 94,677. This represented not just quantity, but systemic superiority in every aspect of production. Military historians consider the American production achievement the decisive factor in Allied victory. Richard Overy, a leading historian of the air war, concluded, "The outcome was determined not by fighting spirit or tactical brilliance, but by the weight of material. But the production miracle's significance transcended military victory. It proved democracy's superiority to dictatorship, freedom's advantage over tyranny. The workers who achieved this transformation were free citizens united in common purpose. They didn't just meet Roosevelt's impossible goal, they doubled it. On October 15, 1946, hours before his scheduled execution, Hermann Göring wrote his final letter. In it, he made his most completed mission. The Americans won through industrial power, not military prowess. We were not defeated by better soldiers, but by better factories. His last recorded statement to his prison psychologist was equally revealing. We declared war on an industrial giant while it slept. When it awoke, we were doomed. They didn't just outproduce us, they revolutionized production itself. Every aspect of their system proved superior to ours. Hermann Göring laughed at the idea of America producing 50,000 planes annually. America responded by producing twice that many, transforming global history in the process. His contempt for American production became the epitaph for the Third Reich. The nation he dismissed as capable only of building consumer goods buried the Wehrmacht under aluminum and steel. In the end, all of it, the 300,000 aircraft, the industrial mathematics, and the power of free labor, turned his contempt into history's most complete defeat.